On low ground as well, we'll have Steady, Kemi, and Teeq matching the front side of the zone. It's literally exactly what we saw yesterday with a few solos here and there like a Nos, trying to get as much placement as possible. I mean, it's going to be good for them if they do get it, but if Steady, Kemi, Teeq stay alive, the whole lobby is just going to be frozen in time.
As long as they're up on their feet, they're gaining forward. And again, we talked about it a little bit at the start of this match. At some point, we're going to have to crown victors in the EUF&CS. We like to call out that moment when, like, hey, nobody can catch them, and it might come sooner rather than later. They're taking the skies, but need to be aware, Teeq has absolutely no shield right now. They do a great job, though, of finding a layer and then just getting back together. They'll invest plenty of their shields to get him back up, make sure that he's taking the minis, then prioritize over on the chug splashes so they don't waste any of it. Deoxy goes down. Wow. So that's something to keep an eye on. And Nos going to play a little bit of spoiler as he gets a full confirmation onto Pink. And they're going to use a full pad to bonk their head at the top and then go down to the low ground. And it looks semi-intentional as Aqua also going to get a knock onto Scram in the top left. We still will need players to go down, but for Stroke and Aqua doing a good job of ramping out, but they're already onto wood and only really building out a double layer. Luckily, it looks like Zone is going to pull back over and they're going to get a solid connection. So a little bit of respite, more control given to them. And the question is, will somebody be able to actually challenge, and what happens on the low ground?
Aqua's mats are bleeding out here. So are Fast Roki's, no utility options either in terms of anything cool, a shield or something like that. And Fast Roki's inventory is ammo so low as well, so they're gonna need a siphon and they're gonna need a refresh. They're gonna have to actually touch down to earth and do something. Look at Hellfire, look at the chop, it's coming through, barely even connected. High ground will get affected in just a second. They're below though for Kami, Steady, Teeq. The surge does start to answer and give this top team trouble. They have splashes though. They're gonna try to out heal it. 8 players gonna go down. This is gonna be a timed situation for these guys. All they have to do is survive. They're gonna break into a box fully. All the sprays fine, nothing, almost out of shield. One more tick and that crack, yes, it's heard by the entire lobby now. Maximum defense. Big Kami down. Gonna be lethal. Kami goes down. Steady's about to go down to a sub 20-point game. He's a solo for the moment, and Aqua, Fast Roki, CRR, they've figured things out again. Another bounce back blesses them on high ground.
So Kami hasn't been full converted over. You still have Surge hitting it on Steady, but this is the problem when you play a little bit too passive. Surge will finally turn off, and we saw yesterday in match number 2, Steady had an absurd individual run to just get them more placement points and to continue that and to get them the top 7 placement. Can they do it again on the low ground? The issue is Shyo. Yesterday, he had a bunch of shields to go with it. He had a bunch of utility. They had to burn all of those to try and get Teeq back up to healthy before they fought against Storm Surge. So now he's dealing with no shields, a pad to try and get around to the outside, but around the outside he goes. Kinzel's right there. However, a stiff breeze will be able to knock him over. Don't forget, up on the high ground, we still have our 3rd place team looking to close the gap. He has 1 HP worth of Storm Tick. Any single weapon in the game, if it hits him, will knock him over. All he wants to do is just stay in his box and keep going through. 23 builds, all wood, but as long as Zone keeps pulling away, he can just hang out. He's looking for right hand. There's a trio right on the other side. Will this be the first time we see them fall outside the top 10? Doesn't matter. Still gets our 2nd place trio going down, hops into the box, and he goes down, but a couple of the trios fell before him. I think he snuck a top 8 in there anyway, so we talk about efficiency. That said, we're going to swing back on over. Mirstash, Malabuka, Shizo trying to put a stamp on it right on the start of the day. They have 12 eliminations so far here right now. No, I lied, Shyo. They have 14 eliminations and still counting. Kinzo picks up 4 ZR in the feed. You see Andalex also going down. Aqua CR still up on the high ground, though. Raining shots is for Strokey. Is going to get to Verax, and we're about to have our top 3. But Mirstash is doing so well finding these shots and weaving them in between the edits.
There's so many souls just continually going down, trying to clutch for this team. This entire trio still alive. The Mirstash with the 8th elimination. Another big pump. That's 9. Can we get it? 10 on the solo man himself. Almost with the beams back and forth like a seesaw. He's balanced, but it's not going to be enough to win the game. That's a huge amount. 70 points or somewhere near 80 this game. I feel like it's already wraps. That being said, though, there's so many different teams flying up in the sky. They're gonna have to survive for a long time. It's not the same situation as last game where there was so many teams dropping all the way towards the very end, a lot of solos. There are organized trio clusters all around. 18 teams, 45 players. The math almost adds up perfectly, and now the shots are coming through from Adil, Janice, and Noah Riley too. They're already at, what is this, 11 eliminations? And there's 45 players alive.
I was going to say, Noah's sitting on 8 himself, and they just got got 2 more knocks there on that rotation, so they're saying, hey, we got nothing to lose. We've been battling it out every single game off a drop with us over at the beach, and they just fought the trio that came in the day in 2nd place, but now Noah Riley says, I need a little bit of that best fighter in EU talk going back to my name. It's been awful quiet for a while, so let's pump the volume up. Give me the soundbite, Sundown, but it doesn't matter. Because we talk about all of this. Look at the low ground. Look at them, the hip to hip, the entire time, priority position, building out with metal. They're going to low pad to end up just taking a small amount of space. Just make sure that they don't end up extending there, because there's no other time they're going to end up using it. And they're going to go up above the convergence. This rotation is going to be so hard for everyone who's behind them. That's why they wanted to make sure they're in the front. As Janice picks up yet another elimination onto Vettel. Storms are still hamming away. Rodeo picks up another one. I believe that's 16 they're pushing on. We could potentially see a 20 elimination game coming out from them. Tripper ends up getting the confirmation onto Rifle. Still one full trio end up being hit by Storm Surge. At least you can see a shot does come through in terms of the charge with the edit, but no confirmation as they continue rotating up towards the convergence.
Every team is trying to play catch up to a moving target that's better, faster, and stronger at height. It's going all the way up to the skies, maybe even the max build limit if they don't stop soon. Hirachi down, Noah Riley traded, Stormer and Teeq now have control, and they might be able to get that revive too if they play their cards right. If they do go for that though, it's only going to be Teeq dropping down the pressure. He goes for a reconnect as well. They have to give Hirachi a little bit of a letdown. A big chop is going to come through. So right still has his footing. It's looking good. Aqua is the one that actually take down Kiriachi. Is this a second shot that might come through as well? I'm not sure, but Aqua's definitely in the situation, in a position to maybe play for retake. The launch pads will come, and I'm not sure which trio this is. It is actually Aqua, Sir and Fast Roki, and they're going for it. Remember, they have to win games over and over to keep up with the people in first place, and they're trying to take things into their own hands.
And Cammy has fallen, but they're inside the top 10 again, and Seti and Teeq are still up on their feet. It's something they do, and now that we've pulled towards the convergence and we're going to pull out and away here in a second, Strokey ends up getting knocked. That's going to be awful for their chance to try and win the game, and that's Teeq who's going to end up picking that up. Aqua comes down the chop. It's just too far away. They try and get going. It's going to end up Stormer who picks it up. It's all going to end up going towards the low ground. You can see pushing in the top 10, and Teeq ends up hitting a launch pad, finds a recycle, and finds a perch from the high ground. He says, I'm the one on the high, raining shots down. He wants the champion. He wants to secure it right now with a victory royale. A brilliant shot from the perch. He ends up picking up Stormy right. That's a full elim. He gets the mats to go with it. Child, this looks like their game.
They haven't done it like this before. This is flashy, confident. Sometimes they're just kind of gifted height overall. This time they take it in the most perfect fashion we've seen, understanding that the two teams there fall down. Another pad for Teeq. I called around 70, 80 points, and we're almost right there. A top 3 situation. They're at 62 just on the day. That's more than some of the teams made on the first one. And this is just game number 2. Seti and Teeq as a duo. We'll break it down the same way we've seen them take apart so many competitions just as a duo sometimes. The solos sometimes. They're used to being champions. Benjyfishy, Savage, and Dredda will have a big task all the way on low. It's a convergence. You can't break through half these cubes. You have to play the position. There's a sneaky rat down on the low ground too. Edison is the one gonna get uncharged after that. He's gonna get completely taken out. Teeq is actually getting close and personal. Seti is playing insurance, but it's gonna be a 1v3 for Teeq down on low. He gets one. Looking for the next. 4 seconds in zone, gets pumped down, and now it's all down to Seti playing that heal game.
Seti will get the first med kit off, but then
No!
Seti will not get the med kit off and will get second place there, but still as a duo.
I guess we're on the final page of the script now. They get that free bounce. It's over a mountain though, so Seti's gonna have to start doing those vertical tarps. They're so brilliant to watch. Deceptos lonely by himself, no Floki. I mean, a little bit of trouble. 80 points on the day is still so good though. Aqua actually going down. Noah Riley taking out Mitro. A little bit of a revenge all the way towards the top side. They'll get that revive up very fast. And once again, we have Seti pulling zone. Aqua on height. This is another game in the Season 8 finals.
But we're already into the cascading placement points, and we talked about that delta and needing to shift. And despite the fact that CR, Aqua, and Fastoki are in a great position, Seti, Cammy, and Teeq are still in a fine position, and that's not good enough if they want to take over the top. So despite doing their best for that battle for second, they want to keep their eyes on the prize. As we're going to keep our eyes on a nice little wide shot and see what the rest of the lobby looks like. You can see how high ground is waiting delayed. Noah looking to try and go up and cut off a little bit. Deceptos is a solo towards the backside of the zone. Will pick up one before he goes down. That's 16th place, picking up just one additional point for Shyowager. Beginning his rotation now, but Aqua looking to cut him off. That's the late pad from the high ground, and they're going to try and take it away, building him off. And Cammy, Steady, and Teeq, they're just like, sounds good. See you guys.
Building boxes, just keep moving forward. No issues whatsoever. This is beautiful from Cammy every time as well. Just has such a huge amount of time, a long opportunity to get as many shots down as possible. Somehow actually ahead of the team now. They're actually going to claim low ground from multiple different angles, set up a trap maybe for a different team. They're going all the way down towards the ground because we're going down to the swamps, to the waters. Controlling low, you can become so incognito, it's crazy. You can surprise people just like Cammy tried to right there. They have so much space. They don't have the zone. Everyone's still trapped back. Haven't even made it past the bridge yet. This is insane.
I mean, the amount of waterfront property they have is criminal right now. Yes, they might have to worry about floods in a second, but I think they'll have more than enough money to be able to build a moat and keep everyone out. He's picking up more eliminations in the feed. You can see Shyowager going down. The chop comes through, and Janice instantly gets knocked. That's the fall damage taking advantage of him. You can see front side of the zone. We do have the Irish trio playing a little bit of a start here. You can see Fastroki did end up getting knocked down and separated for a second here. They're on 7 eliminations, though, so trying to push the pace a little bit as Aqua picks up another one, but Cammy also picks up another one. They're just yo-yoing it back and forth, but it doesn't matter if they keep making an endgame Shyo. That's another top 10 for Cammy, Seti, and Teeq, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down as they have priority position again.
Low ground with 3 different teams. They actually got invaded inside the boxes and had a beautiful display of defense against another team just moments ago. Still Nebs popping off, Edison popping off, 92 points on day 2, just halfway through. Nebs finally down now, fully eliminated. Reese 11 broke it down. Every time they see a team with 6 eyes, 3 beams on the same target, they get deleted before they even touch the ground. Cammy, Seti, Teeq, they're not fooling anyone right now, and they're just convincing every person across all regions that they're one of the best teams in the world. This low ground style of play, their game plan overall is untouchable. 60 limbs on Cammy, 1 pair for each for Seti and Teeq. It's huge. They're at 8, almost double digit. Another player in their box. A big pump. Seti will be able to just confirm it fully. They're basically even unchallenged. Teeq actually is going to be the cost of that. They'll explore the zone for a little bit and find another knock. That's going to be huge eliminations coming through. 104 points for Cammy, eating the cabbages. He's not going down just yet. He finds 4 more floppers and still has those veggies to eat. Somehow he is alive. They're not going to fail heal game this time. It's not a complicated mech kit. Look at the tags on a Fastroki who's a solo. It's now 2 of the hottest teams going toe-to-toe against each other. Cammy and Seti are going to be down a teammate for now. Aqua's going to be all the way on height looking to just stop these guys in momentum, in force, but they're not going to stop them on the boards. The second place will be enough. A big pump onto Fastroki. It's going to be Cammy.
No builds.
One-on-one, no builds.
No builds for first and second, trying to close the gap a little bit here, but you have to imagine second place will be enough. He's trying to find the shot. No builds. You can see Aqua 1v2, but it's not a lot of effective HP. Cammy can do it. Won't get the siphon coming out, and they deny it, and they'll be able to do it with 10 eliminations in the VR. But on the other side, second place with... Do you believe in magic? Is there somebody in the backlines? Is there a little bit of a spell he can cast? If there was ever a day for it to end up pulling out some hocus pocus, you need a victory royale. Can you pull it out of the hat? But it looks like it's the wrong season. The leaves will change, the snow will come down, but CRR trying to extend the run, do anything he can. Storm Surge ticks on below. You talk about the insurmountable odds climbing even more. Storm at his back, Storm Surge warning, looming on the right-hand side. We have the leaders in the top right. They'll know as soon as he goes down that the winner is over. CRR, recycle pass towards the outside. Keep an eye on the bottom right, Chow, because as long as he's up, there's a chance.
All in a hand where he has no cards. CRR, no shields, 1 launch pad, out of 500 builds, 25 seconds to find 200 damage. He's had to face down a trio, stare into their soul, and survive with no shields. 1 pump shot might be able to equalize, but have to follow up with a few taps of that AR as well. He's rotating perfectly, but not finding any damage. 9 seconds left. Down low on low ground. 8 seconds left. 6. Down to 4, 3, 2 seconds. CRR finds someone. Break into a box, do something. 35 HP is gonna start to tick through. 354 damage below. It is done. The second place team is out. The chances for any type of close race ended. The Dragons of EU, the mythical beasts, Cammy, Seti, and Teeq definitely have the competition, the finals on lock.
They let out a roar, and they want to do it by continuing, not placing outside, let alone the top 10. It hasn't been outside the top 8. As I say that, Seti ends up eating a big shot, but they're just protecting their horde at this point. They'll walk away with all of the spoils, the Axe of Champions, the 100 grand per player, and everything else that comes with it. The notoriety, the Twitter post that said first day 1, first day 2, first the entire time. Congratulations to Seti, Cammy, and Teeq. But Shyo, like we talked about before, first is basically locked up. Second is basically locked up. What happens in the denouement? Who else will be able to slide in the falling action? Who will then sit as the squire in the New World Order that they put forward? And again, what individual efforts do they have left to continue the absurd streak they're on?
Lots of fuel in the tank for many different teams. Milan's actually going all the way for height, actually fighting Thomas HD, and they actually wiped the whole trio. Not sure if Mitro's alive, but they have such a nice pedestal all the way up top. Meanwhile, Cammy and Teeq as a duo will try to take a victory lap and see what they can do on the low ground. Astro still popping up against Iku, and Noah Riley is going down in the feed. The mid ground is actually so volatile, basically erupting like a volcano with the amount of eliminations that are going on in that entire zone. Ari only taking out Noah Riley, so he's not done just staying up top. He's not content of having high ground. He wants to end this game himself as well. Meanwhile, no one is touching Cammy and Teeq. They're mid-ground against many different teams, but there are no edits that are actually offensive against them. They can take their time and do whatever they want. Hadi's actually going down to the zone. Poki is down too. Mitro is alive with Milan and Ari only up top. Cammy finds a full refresh. They're still up. It's Rifle they take out.
That's the third elimination pushing through. Does get a decent amount of the mass, but doesn't find all of them. Trying to push through out of the metal. Going to get taken down. It's all going to be on Teeq. But hey, they pushed through another top 8 performance. I believe they went down in 7th. You can see Mitro raining down the shots. Aaron Lee goes down the backside of the zone. Scram trying to push forward. This is one of the teams who could be looking to battle for that third place shot. And a huge shot from Scram as he's going to be able to reset. Try and find a right hand on the zone. He picks up the solo on the backside. 2v1. V1, they're the only duo who's trying to go up and find who's up on the high ground. They're dropping down. It's Milan and Mitro. No, it's just a straight 2v2. You got Mitro and Milan versus Scram and Flonata to try and take home the match number 10 here. We know who the winner is. We know who second is, but this has huge implications for who could be third. Able to pick up one on to Mitro, and Milan is going to try and clutch it up. Scram, very low HP, but it doesn't matter because Flonata puts in all the work, and with a 9 eliminations, literally they went out last in last game, and Aqua ended up getting like 45 plus eliminations, but it doesn't matter because Aqua gets bopped. Top right hand corner goes to take the launch pad. We've seen the traps come out before, and now it's going to be on CRR and Pastrocki to try and keep a little bit of a lead. But honestly, Flonata, Scram, and Hellfire, they've looked much better. My eyes are in the bottom right hand corner as they're rotating towards the front side of the zone. But don't forget the top left hand. As you can see, players taking to the sky and trying to get up on the high ground of CRR. Also going to launch pad and trying to catch back up. Eyes on the bottom right hand though, Shyo.
Yep, a very close battle between second and third. The third place team on the bottom right of Flow's, Scram, and Hellfire are in a better spot. As soon as I say that, a little bit of rat-a-tat on the Flow's back. Unfortunately, loses a little bit of that shield, but has the harpoon and a launch pad to make a big play. All they have to do is wait 5 seconds for the zone to lock in. Korok, Splash, and Milwaukee on the left side of your screen have high ground, but notice they're not doing much with it in terms of pressure. Why? There's a trap falling from the skies, and Austin Thomas HD flopper plays all the way in the shadow formation, end up dropping down and taking control of height. Meanwhile, lots of people flying towards the skies, the third place team being one of them. Big fights for height still. Queasy ends up matching through, and they're going fine. Flowis on the low ground on the bottom right of your screen. They're actually under surge damage. It's getting tough now, just 50 above. They survive somehow, slightly, are ahead of the zone, but have to really make it past another obstacle. It's a different team they're fighting on the bottom right. Just pay attention to your feeds right now. It's getting crazy. They actually pick up that elimination, stay alive. Meanwhile, CRR is actually just running through the whole lobby. 500 damage above on the top right of your screen. Still alive with Fast Roki. As a duo, they're doing the impossible and keeping the dream of second place secured for their team.
And CRR picked up 2 fantastic solo eliminations by diving down in the box. But he did it when he had the SMG on swap with the charge. Now opting to only have the burst makes his individual clutches much more difficult. And as he loses his teammate, it's going to be that much harder for Strokey going down. CRR trying to continue that battle for the second place spot. You can see that Flow has ended up going down, so it's not Hellfire and OO Scram in the bottom right-hand corner. We're going to tune in with Hellfire, just doing the tarping, keeping them in front of the zone. We're into the top 7 for Strokey. Does finally end up going down. I don't think I've seen Seti, Cammy, and Teeq go down, so they got yet another top 8 performance going through, but CRR is not stopping. Gets another knock onto Wickle, but CRR will finally get taken down. That's a 7th place spot for him. Keeping an eye, though, Hellfire and Scram, they're going to be able to pass here. There are tons of eliminations on CRR, but they should be able to make up the difference in placement points, assuming they can outlast. They will be able to pick up an elim there, but they need to get the confirmation, and no, they go down in 6. So actually, I think CRR and Co might have stretched that lead out a little bit, but Seti, Cammy, and Teeq trying to close it with a VR. Cammy already down. Teeq sitting on 3 eliminations, has the legendary pump as well as the rare AR and a harpoon combo to go with it, but no more builds, so he's going to open up. It's a 3v2 v1 to close out match number 11 here. They will be our winners in the end, but the question is, can they do it with a little bit of a stamp? Looking up on the high ground, gets the first spray, finds the low ground. Seti gets bounced back, but Teeq ends up finding that stomping, but the drop down comes out, needs to find the siphon, not going to be able to do it, and they get picked up. It's a 1v1. Nebs versus Nos to close out match number 11. Seti, Cammy, and Teeq, they won it. It's done in terms of the math, but Anas, Thomas, and Queasy.
So in case you guys are just tuning in, you missed out. Seti, Cammy, Teeq, they're so far ahead that mathematically, it's basically impossible for any trio to catch up to them and win. So let's just set them aside. They are your champions. Once again, congratulations to them.
Are literally the, the all-star teams, the blockbuster teams within EU, and it hasn't panned out the way any of them would have wanted to, right? When you look at 12th,